through that conversation, but we're going to shift focus to investment firm Oister Global, which has floated a 440 crore rupee fund that is targeted at India's consumption boom and sunrise sectors. Now, Oister, which has made investments into funds like Bloom Ventures, Stride Ventures before, said it is going to look at investments in fund houses across early, growth and late-stage venture capital and private equity funds. And in the next 2 years, it aims to inject 4,500 crores into India's ecosystem. So joining me now to discuss these plans is Rohit Bhayana, the co-founder and co-CEO at Oister Global. Rohit, welcome back to Startup Street. Thanks for your time here again. Tell us about this 440 crore fund that you've launched, investments across series in the private equity venture capital space. That's a wide net you're casting. What is the investment strategy?
Ritu, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being back here with you. So yeah, you captured it right. It's a 440 crore fund. We're looking at venture capital being a big part of it, about 1/3, 30-odd%. 40% will be investing in growth equity, and about 30% will be going in private equity. So we'll be coming across sectors, across stages, which obviously means across managers. That gives us the advantage of not just harnessing the life cycle of a company through many stages. It also gives us the ability to reflect India's underlying economy. End of the day, we are about a 60% economy focused on consumption, and about 40% of the economy is getting unlocked through innovation, technology, etc. So what Oyster India Pinnacle Fund is doing is it's literally replicating or mirroring that underpinning of the economy.
Okay, but Rahul, if you could get deeper into, you said you're going to establish, rather back both established consumption-driven sectors and emerging tech-led innovative sectors. Could you get more specific on the themes and sectors that look the most promising with the most potential?
Yeah. So Ritu, typically what happens is venture capital by very nature ends up coming in early stage, and that fundamentally means that's where cutting-edge technology, cutting-edge innovation really comes about. We're seeing that across several sectors, from health tech to climate to deep tech in turn further across sectors, from material sciences to agri to space tech. So we're seeing in the VC side, we're seeing pretty much a secular cross-sectoral innovation play coming in. Growth equity, which is the middle part of our strategy, is really bent predominantly on consumption. That's where we're seeing companies which are typically getting into the Series B and C capital raise. That's where a lot of sectoral growth is B2C oriented. That's where we are focused on. Coming to private equity, that's the late stage. That again is both consumption as well as late stage technology companies. So we're seeing both of them play out. Now, when you stitch the three that I just talked about, fundamentally what it means is we would have, as an investor, a vantage point view on the key sectors of India, whether they're consumption or tech-oriented, which are moving through these sectors and moving through various maturity cycles in each of these sectors. That's really what the thesis is getting to be.
All right, that's quite the detailed thesis. Thanks very much for taking us through that. But a quick word on how many funds you're looking to back this time with this new fund that you've launched, and what the average ticket size would be. I mean, we've seen you invest in Bloom Ventures and Stride, as I was saying. Should we expect something along similar lines?
Ritu, it will be slightly different than that. We would be looking at about 5 to 7 funds. We would typically be putting 50 to 60 crores in each of the funds. That's the kind of number we're looking at. Give or take, there'll be some which will go higher, but that's kind of the sweet spot which we are looking at. And these 5 or 7 funds would typically be 2 to 3 in each of the 3 stages, couple of them in venture capital, couple in growth equity, and couple in private equity. That's how we're looking at constituting or constructing the portfolio strategy.
All right, so 5 to 7 firms and 50 to 70 crores is the average check size. Mm-hmm. When should we expect the first close, and what sort of returns are you looking at from these investments?
Yeah, Ritu, first close we should be looking at inside of May. That's what our target plan is. We are off to it and briskly moving towards that. In terms of returns, this is going to be a 22% net IRR target that we're going in for. We believe that's very achievable. We believe that given how the economy, given how the sectors I talked about, how we're constructing them, the fact that the funds we are looking at are absolutely top-notch, top-tier funds across these 3 stages that we talked about, and their past performances, the current macro environments, and therefore their alignment with the future growth are all fairly synchronously tying up, we feel pretty strongly about the fact that we can overachieve this target.
Okay, Rohit, and the final question is, you plan to inject about 4,500 crores into the venture capital private equity ecosystem here and also launch a private credit fund next quarter. Give us details on both of those.
Yeah, so 4,500 crores sounds big. It's a drop in India's ocean. So I think with the amount of capital we are going to see required in the private markets is massive. We're looking at about 600 billion going into India's private markets over the next 5 years. And this will therefore just be a drop towards that. But yeah, we want to be a significant player in that. We will see, Ritu, at least a couple of further funds like Oyster India Pinnacle Fund come together. We'll be investing in few more feeders like Stride and Bloom that you talked about. We will also be bringing about private credit funds. In private credit, we're looking at performing credit predominantly. That's a sector we love. We think India has got a complete insane appetite for private credit on the performing credit side. So that's where we're going to be focused on. Expect to see at least one fund out in the next 3 months from our side. So yeah, that's really how the short-term strategy is playing out.
All right, Rohit, thank you very much for your time here on the show. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we hope to speak with you again, maybe after you've deployed some of those funds. Thanks very much for your time again.
We promise to be here, and pleasure being so.